Well, we've just had news that a truce has been agreed between the leaders of the opposition and the authorities, and therefore I suppose that means that the police are not going to try to take control of the rest of Independence Square tonight. But as you can probably hear behind me, that doesn't mean all the violence has stopped. It's certainly calmer than it was last night, but we can still hear fireworks going off. I think that there are also stun grenades being let off, at least that's what it sounds like. There's a firework right beside me about to go off. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. There are about 15,000 protesters on Independence Square, determined to defend it. They've ripped up the pavement all along Khreshchatyk Street, which leads down from Independence Square towards Kiev City Hall, in order to have paving stones ready to throw at the police and soldiers who have occupied one side of the square.
Gulliver, there's been a lot of talk about sanctions mooted by the West. What kind of pressure can be brought to bear on President Viktor Yanukovych?
Well, certainly a lot of Ukrainians believe that sanctions on President Viktor Yanukovych and perhaps on the Interior Minister Vitaly Zakharchenko and people who might be considered responsible for this violence would have some effect. Others doubt that they really would, because the example of Belarus, which is an authoritarian regime under President Alexander Lukashenko and has been subject to sanctions for some time from the European Union, without those sanctions seemingly having influenced the Belarusian authorities at all, both countries being under a lot of pressure also from Russia. So a lot of people argue that actually sanctions wouldn't have that much effect. There's certainly debate about that. There's a third factor, which is the Ukrainian oligarchs, particularly Rinat Akhmetov, who's Ukraine's richest man, and Dmytro Firtash, who are thought to have a lot of influence over around 80 MPs in Viktor Yanukovych's Regions Party in Parliament between them. But so far, although both men have, through their companies, voiced their concern, and actually yesterday in a communique from Rinat Akhmetov's company, I think even displeasure at what is going on and the way the Ukrainian authorities have been handling this. So far, they don't seem to have been able to use that influence in Parliament to any effect, and it would seem that Viktor Yanukovych's influence over those MPs, in terms of the threats, possibly even of judicial proceedings against them, that he might be able to wield, I think it's a lot more the case of the stick than the carrot. It seems that so far, in any case, the oligarchs haven't been able to exert the kind of influence that some people thought that they would be able to.